What is reality? I originally posed this question as like, what is truth? But I think reality is a better descriptor here. I should say, what is the truth of reality? And just off the top of my head, I thought it sounds good. So I'm going to say it's 80% subjective, 10% speculative, and 10% actual truth. What do I mean by that? I think we hold truth to too high of a standard. And what I mean by that is many different types of truth. What is true? Okay, right now, it's true that I'm drinking a beer. It's also true that I should be working, but I'm taking a break. And but is that really true? I mean, I'm telling you it's true. You don't know if this is a beer or a soda. It is a beer, but you don't know if there's even anything in it, right? So it may or may not be true, but it doesn't really matter. It's kind of irrelevant truth to you because it doesn't matter whether it's full or not. Like, you don't care what I'm drinking, and trying to get to the point here, but it is good though. That's the truth. But the truth about our personal realities, right? I'm having a hard time with words lately. It's weird because I didn't used to suffer from this as much. I used to make videos and I felt like I could just flow through it. And lately I've just been stopped up. My brain has been clogged. And it's probably just because of all the chaos, not just not political chaos, it's just personal chaos. Moving, dealing with the new living situation, coming back here to work on my old house, which I just put a new door in. See, it's pretty. It's a lot better than the 20-year-old Dutch doors I had in there before. But what I mean by reality being 80% subjective is that we tend to impress our own values on other people and our own truths upon other people. And it's never worked. I mean, it works for some people. You can convince others that you're right and they're wrong. And entire groups of people, in fact, entire societies and empires can be convinced that something is true that it's not. I mean, if you consider that one time it was the truth that the Earth was at the center of the universe, right? Milky Way galaxy, we find out we're in a galaxy. Oh boy, wait a minute, there's more galaxies, and it just keeps going on from there. The truth is always shifting as we learn new information. And there's a tendency to hang on to what we heard, or some truth that we heard when we were young, like as if that's just fact and, that's how the world is. This is very apparent with religion. And many people, as they get older, they kind of step away from organized religion. I'm not saying that that's a good or bad thing. It's very subjective, like everything else. For some people, if you can tell yourself a comfortable lie, whatever it might be, whether it's about the world, about life and death, if it comforts you, then that personal lie becomes your reality. Therefore, your truth is very subjective. And some of these, quote, truths or, the realities we live in cannot be proven to other people. When you encounter another person, usually you're engaging on a level that you both understand, which is, hi, I'm a human being. Oh, hey, nice weather today. Or, hey, what do you do for a living? Things that we know that we all share. But you very rarely go up and introduce yourself to a person and go into some deep spiritual rant or philosophical discussion. You have to understand what the person knows, where they're coming from, and what their reality is. And some of the most in-depth conversations and epiphanies I've had have been talking with people who have completely different realities than I do. I don't necessarily agree with them or come to the conclusion that they're right, but I start to understand why different realities work for different people. Could there ever be an absolute truth that we could all agree on? I mentioned earlier whole thing about the sun being at the center of the universe, and we've all heard the stories, you know, scientists being put in prison and locked up because they have a different view than the church. But even today, in this, you know, in a secular society or in any, you know, scientific society, the scientists can become just as dogmatic, and their truth can become subjective. So, for example, recently new information came out as we, you know, advance our telescopes. We were able to see farther back in time to further out in the universe and found galaxies that shouldn't exist. I'm not an astronomer. I don't know anything other than what, you know, I'm fascinated with it, but it's not my topic of specialty, obviously. But from what I understand, these galaxies shouldn't have existed or been created this early in the universe. Therefore, it throws the age of the universe on its head. Now, instead of like 13.5 or 14 billion years, now they're saying it could be 26 or 30 billion, or yeah, billion years. Who cares, right? Does any of that matter? For people that want absolute truth, it absolutely matters. But what's interesting is even with new discoveries, new observations, some people are so entrenched with what they've always believed and what they've written about and based their careers on that they're unwilling to change their opinions with new information when it comes in. And I understand how difficult it is to change your mind on something if you're very stuck in your ways. And it's especially bad if you've spent a long time telling others that certain things are true, and then you find out that they're not. Are you willing to admit that? Are you willing to take the fall and say I was wrong? Very few people are. I've been wrong about a lot of things in the past. I have heard about all kinds of different conspiracies and theories and ideas, and like even some of the, like I was really fascinated with UFOs, things like Bigfoot, stuff like that. Do you want to admit that maybe these things don't exist, or that there's something else that we don't understand, or that many of the stories are made up? We don't, you know, that's up to the person. So your reality is going to fit whatever works for you, and your truth is going to fit whatever works for you. And the reason why I'm saying this is very simple. Until we start accepting other people's truths as their reality, and as long as it doesn't harm us personally, then just accept it. Be okay with it. Stop trying to convince other people to think the way that you think. It's never worked. It's never going to work. At least not in the modern society. You know, if you can be persuasive without using anger, violence, hostility, fear, if you can be persuasive just using facts, and a person can confirm those facts by trying it themselves or looking into it, that's a wonderful thing. Because there are certain truths, like, hey, maybe you're raising chickens and your neighbor's raising chickens, and they say, hey, you know, if you raise your coop off the ground, you'll get extra space, or if you put your feeder over here, or, you know, use this type of wire. The other guy's not going to be like, screw you, you don't know what you're talking about. We learn from each other. This is how it's always been. And I feel like in the modern society, we've kind of hit a point where we just stopped taking other people's advice. We stopped listening to each other's truths, and we dug in our heels. Now, this isn't universal. Many people have changed their minds, and society is going through a lot of, I hate using that word society, but that's, you know, I guess that's what you would call it. But been changing a lot of our opinions on things as we receive new information, and as a society. But it takes time. And right now, it's a very interesting time to be alive. Never in history, I mean, even when I was a kid, if we were arguing about, you know, what the name of an insect was, you know, yeah, you could go and you could look it up in the encyclopedia. Assuming it's there, you could get your answer because that was the answer. But the internet's changed all that. It doesn't mean that answer was correct necessarily. Many mistakes have been made, but at least people could somewhat agree on it until something better came forward. Right now, it seems like it's more about selecting your thought bubble and feeding that ego with ideas that agree with us. This is why, for me, it's so important to listen to people who I disagree with. And almost every day I do it. I listen to podcasts from political views that I despise. Even when I'm listening to something that makes me cringe, I keep listening because I want to know how people think. Because for me, understanding how other people think allows me to think better. It allows me to function in life better, interact with people in a way that's more, uh, I don't know, more productive, I guess. So I just wanted to just get that out there. Just, it's important to me that we recognize each other's truths and that we respect that. Now, I know as I said, I'm not a person who follows a religion. And there was a time in my life where I would laugh at people like that and make fun of them. But I don't do that anymore. I've learned that that is very offensive and that's wrong to do. I can't tell other people what they should or shouldn't believe because I don't know a damn thing either, you know? And what good does it do anyway? We're not, can you imagine if everyone thought the same way? How boring life would be? Something a lot of people don't consider. If everyone followed the same values and had the exact same morals, same ideas, would that be a good world or not? I don't know. I guess we'll probably never find out. But anyhow, I should get back to work. I'll talk to y'all next time. Do what you do. Peace out.